You trust people too easily. Emma laughed when her old friend Sophia said that to her, because honestly, she never believed manipulation was real. She thought mind control only existed in movies, dark rooms, strange hypnosis, creepy voices. But real mind control is much quieter. It happens in normal conversations, inside relationships, at workplaces, between friends, even inside families. And the most dangerous part, most people using these tricks don't even realize they are doing it. One rainy evening, Emma sat alone inside a quiet cafe waiting for a client meeting. That meeting was supposed to change her career forever. She had worked for months on the project. Then the client arrived. A woman in her 40s, calm voice, soft smile, confident eyes. Within 5 minutes, Emma already felt nervous around her. Not because the woman shouted, not because she threatened her, but because of tiny psychological tricks. The client leaned slightly forward while talking, maintained deep eye contact, repeated Emma's own words back to her, and somehow Emma slowly started agreeing to things she never planned to accept. Lower payment, more work, extra deadlines. When the meeting ended, Emma walked outside into the rain, feeling strange. Why did I agree to all that? That night, she couldn't sleep. She replayed every moment again and again in her head, and then something terrifying hit her. The client never forced her. She guided her, slowly, silently, psychologically. That moment became the beginning of Emma's obsession with human psychology. For the next 6 months, she studied manipulation techniques, emotional triggers, and hidden mind control patterns people unknowingly use every single day. And what she discovered changed the way she saw the world forever. The first trick was called mirroring. You've probably experienced it too without realizing. When someone copies your body language, your tone, your speaking speed, your brain automatically starts trusting them, because subconsciously your mind says, "She is like me." That cafe client had mirrored Emma perfectly. When Emma crossed her arms, the client did too. When Emma slowed her voice, the client matched it. Everything felt natural, but it wasn't accidental. Psychologists call this unconscious bonding. Manipulators use it everywhere. Salespeople, leaders, influencers, even toxic partners. And once trust is created, control becomes easier. But that was only the beginning. A few days later, Emma noticed another disturbing trick during a family gathering. Her cousin Olivia always controlled conversations without sounding aggressive. Whenever someone disagreed with her, she became silent, completely silent. No anger, no shouting, just silence. And strangely, people started apologizing to her, even when they were right. This is called emotional withdrawal, one of the oldest psychological tricks. Humans fear emotional disconnection more than arguments. Silence creates discomfort. Your brain starts asking, "Did I do something wrong?" And to remove that discomfort, people surrender emotionally. Emma suddenly remembered her ex-best friend, Ava. Every time they argued, Ava disappeared emotionally, ignored messages, stopped replying, acted cold for days. And every single time, Emma apologized first, not because she was wrong, because silence controlled her emotions. That realization broke something inside her. For the first time in her life, she understood how easily emotions can be programmed. Weeks passed. Emma became hyper-aware of people. She started observing conversations carefully. And then one night, she discovered the most dangerous trick of all: fear anchoring. Her office manager used it brilliantly. Before every team meeting, the manager casually mentioned layoffs happening in other companies. Thousands lost jobs this month. Companies are replacing workers fast. People should feel lucky to even have a job. Then immediately after creating fear, she asked employees to work overtime. Nobody complained, because fear weakens resistance. This is how psychological anchoring works. First, create emotion, then attach a decision to it. Politicians use it, media use it, brands use it. Fear makes humans obedient, and once fear enters the mind, logic slowly disappears. Emma started feeling paranoid. Everywhere she looked, psychological manipulation existed. Friends controlling emotions through guilt, bosses controlling behavior through fear, partners controlling love through silence, even social media. Every notification, every red icon, every endless scroll designed to control attention, designed to control dopamine, designed to control behavior. One night, Emma sat alone in darkness, staring at her phone screen, and suddenly she asked herself something terrifying. What if most of my decisions were never truly mine? That question changed everything, because mind control doesn't always look evil. Sometimes it looks like love, sometimes friendship, sometimes motivation, and that's why it becomes dangerous. The next morning, Emma met an old psychology professor named Clara, an intelligent woman with calm eyes and a quiet voice. After hearing Emma's experiences, Clara smiled softly. Then she said something unforgettable. "The human mind is not controlled by force, Emma. It is controlled by emotion." That sentence hit deeply. Clara explained that humans believe they are logical creatures, but in reality, most decisions come from emotional triggers: fear, validation, loneliness, attention, approval. Control those emotions, and you control behavior. Emma asked quietly, "Then how do we protect ourselves?" Clara looked outside the window silently for a moment. Then she answered, "First, you must learn to notice, because manipulation loses power the moment you become aware of it." That night, Emma opened her diary and wrote, "People don't control minds through magic. They control minds through emotions people fail to understand. And maybe even now, someone around you is using these tricks too. Maybe someone is controlling your emotions through guilt. Maybe someone is shaping your decisions through fear. Maybe someone is making you doubt yourself quietly, slowly, psychologically. And the scariest part, you may not even realize it yet. If this story opened your eyes even a little, then don't leave silently, because somewhere, someone you care about might also be trapped in psychological manipulation without knowing it. Like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear this, and subscribe, because the next part will reveal the darkest mind control tricks people use in relationships, friendships, and daily life without anyone noticing. Sometimes awareness is the only protection a person has. Emma could no longer see people the same way. After discovering how emotions secretly controlled human behavior, her mind became restless. Every conversation felt different now. Every smile looked suspicious. Every compliment felt calculated. Every silence carried hidden meaning. And slowly, Emma started noticing something terrifying. The people who controlled others the most rarely looked dangerous. They looked kind, charming, helpful, friendly. That's what made them powerful.
A week later, Emma attended her childhood friend Lily's birthday dinner. The restaurant was warm and beautiful, soft music played in the background. Everyone laughed together. But in the middle of that happy atmosphere, Emma noticed something strange. A woman named Chloe controlled the entire table without anyone realizing it. Whenever someone spoke, Chloe interrupted gently. Whenever someone shared an opinion, Chloe subtly corrected them. Not aggressively, not loudly, just enough to make people question themselves. And the scariest part? Everyone kept seeking her approval. Emma observed carefully. One girl shared an exciting business idea. Chloe smiled softly and said, "That's cute, but are you sure it would actually work?" Instantly, the girl became quiet. Another friend talked about her fitness journey. Chloe laughed lightly. "You're brave for posting gym photos already." Everyone chuckled awkwardly, but Emma noticed the girl's face change immediately. Her confidence disappeared in seconds. That's when Emma realized something horrifying. Some people destroy confidence slowly, so others become emotionally dependent on them. Psychologists call this confidence erosion. Tiny comments, tiny doubts, tiny sarcasm, repeated again and again until the victim stops trusting their own mind. And most manipulators do it unconsciously because controlling insecure people feels easier. That night, after dinner, Emma walked home with Lily. Finally, she asked quietly, "Why do you let Chloe talk to you like that?" Lily looked confused. "She's just honest." "No," Emma replied softly. "She makes everyone feel smaller around her." Lily stayed silent. Then she whispered something painful. "I always feel nervous before meeting her." That sentence stayed in Emma's mind all night, because true manipulation often feels invisible to the victim. The next few days, Emma became obsessed with understanding deeper psychological tricks. And then she discovered something even darker: the need for validation. Humans desperately want approval, and manipulators know this very well. One evening, Emma posted a simple photo online. Within minutes, she kept checking her phone repeatedly. Likes, comments, views. Every notification gave her a small emotional reward, a small dopamine hit. Suddenly, Clara's words returned to her mind. Control emotion, and you control behavior. That's when Emma realized modern mind control doesn't always come from people. Sometimes it comes from systems, apps, algorithms, platforms designed to keep humans emotionally addicted. Every scroll is intentional. Every notification is psychological. Every delay creates craving. Social media companies understand human emotion better than most humans themselves. And once people become addicted to validation, they become easier to influence. Emma remembered her younger sister, Sophie. Sophie deleted photos if they received low likes. One bad comment ruined her entire day. And suddenly, Emma understood something heartbreaking. An entire generation was slowly connecting self-worth to digital approval. That realization terrified her. But life became even stranger a few days later. Emma received a call from Ava, her old best friend, the same friend who emotionally disappeared whenever conflicts happened. At first, Ava sounded sweet, warm, emotional, nostalgic. She talked about old memories, childhood moments, funny stories. Emma slowly relaxed. Then suddenly, Ava changed the conversation. "You abandoned me when I needed you." Emma froze, because deep down she knew that wasn't true. But Ava continued emotionally. "I was always there for you. You changed. You became selfish." And somehow, Emma started feeling guilty, even though part of her knew she was being manipulated. This is called guilt framing, one of the most powerful psychological control tactics. Manipulators shift emotional responsibility onto you. They make you feel responsible for their pain, their anger, their sadness. And once guilt enters your mind, your ability to think clearly weakens. Emma nearly apologized, but then she stopped herself. For the first time in her life, she noticed the pattern while it was happening, and awareness changed everything. Quietly, Emma asked, "Ava, why do I always feel guilty after talking to you?" Silence. Long silence. Then Ava replied coldly, "You've changed." And she hung up. Emma sat alone, staring at the dark phone screen. Her heart felt heavy, because manipulation hurts most when it comes from people we once loved. That night, Emma visited Clara again. Rain tapped softly against the windows while Emma explained everything. After listening carefully, Clara poured tea slowly into 2 cups. Then she said something unforgettable. The most dangerous manipulators are not always evil people. Sometimes they are wounded people controlling others to protect themselves. Emma frowned slightly. Clara continued softly, "People who fear abandonment use guilt. People who fear losing power use fear. People who feel insecure destroy confidence in others. Pain often hides behind manipulation." Emma stayed silent for a long moment, because suddenly everything felt more complicated. Manipulators were not always monsters. Sometimes they were broken humans repeating emotional patterns they never healed. But Clara warned her about something important. Understanding manipulation does not mean accepting it. That line hit deeply, because empathy without boundaries becomes self-destruction. For the next few weeks, Emma started changing. She stopped over-explaining herself, stopped apologizing unnecessarily, stopped chasing approval. And strangely, some people became uncomfortable around her. Why? Because manipulators lose power when their emotional tricks stop working. Then one evening, something shocking happened. Emma received a message from Lily. Just 3 words. "You were right." Emma called her immediately. Lily sounded emotional. She revealed that Chloe had turned their entire friend group against each other through subtle manipulation, spreading tiny doubts, creating insecurities, making everyone emotionally dependent on her approval. And nobody noticed until friendships started breaking apart. Emma closed her eyes slowly, because now she understood the darkest truth of all. Mind control rarely destroys people instantly. It destroys them slowly, one emotion at a time, one doubt at a time, one fear at a time. And maybe, even now, someone around you is quietly shaping your emotions too, making you question yourself, making you seek approval, making you feel guilty for things that were never your fault. But the moment you notice the pattern, the control begins to break. And in the final part of this story, Emma will discover the darkest psychological trick of all, a manipulation method so powerful it can completely change someone's personality without them realizing it. And once you see it, you will never look at human behavior the same way again. Emma thought she finally understood manipulation. She believed awareness had made her stronger, but she was wrong, because the darkest psychological control trick was still waiting for her. And unlike the others, this one didn't attack confidence, it didn't use guilt, it didn't use fear directly. It slowly changed a person's identity, without them even realizing it. A month later, Emma's company hired a new creative director named Victoria. The moment Victoria entered the office, everyone admired her. Confident voice, perfect posture, magnetic personality. People listened whenever she spoke, and within weeks, the entire office atmosphere changed. Employees started dressing differently, speaking differently, even behaving differently. At first, Emma thought it was normal influence, but slowly she noticed something disturbing. Nobody expressed original opinions anymore. People only repeated Victoria's thoughts. If Victoria praised something, everyone praised it. If Victoria disliked someone, others slowly avoided that person too. And then Emma realized the terrifying truth. Humans unconsciously absorb the behavior of dominant personalities around them. Psychologists call this identity conditioning. The longer people stay around a powerful emotional influence, the more their personality slowly changes. Without awareness, humans become reflections of their environment. One afternoon during lunch break, Emma overheard two coworkers mocking another employee named Hannah, a quiet girl who rarely spoke. The strange part, a month ago, those same coworkers were kind to Hannah, but after Victoria casually called Hannah socially awkward during one meeting, everyone started treating her differently. That one label changed the way people saw her, and eventually, Hannah started seeing herself that way too. This is how psychological conditioning works. Repeat something long enough and the brain accepts it as truth. You're weak. You're not attractive enough. You'll never succeed. You're difficult to love. If humans hear these things repeatedly, eventually their identity begins changing around those words. Emma suddenly remembered her childhood. A teacher once told her, "You're too emotional to become successful." And for years, she hid her emotions because of that single sentence. That realization shook her deeply. How much of her personality was truly hers, and how much had been programmed by other people's words? That question haunted her for days. Then one evening, something happened that changed Emma forever. She found Hannah crying alone on the office staircase, quiet tears, shaking hands. Emma sat beside her gently. After a long silence, Hannah whispered something heartbreaking. "I feel invisible here." Emma listened quietly. Then Hannah said, "Sometimes I think maybe everyone would be happier if I disappeared." Those words hit Emma like a knife, because suddenly she understood how dangerous psychological influence can become. Tiny comments, repeated judgments, subtle rejection. Over time, they can slowly destroy someone's sense of self. Emma looked at Hannah carefully and asked, "Who made you believe you're worthless?" Hannah stayed silent, but tears answered the question. That night, Emma couldn't sleep. For hours, she sat by her apartment window watching rain fall against the city lights. And slowly, a painful truth formed inside her mind. The human brain is fragile, much more fragile than people think. Words become beliefs, beliefs become identity, identity becomes reality. And most people spend their entire lives carrying emotional programming they never chose. Fear from childhood, insecurities from relationships, self-doubt from society. Invisible psychological chains. The next morning, Emma went to meet Clara one final time. The old professor listened carefully while Emma explained everything she had realized. Then Clara smiled sadly. "You finally understand." Emma looked confused. "Understand what?" Clara leaned forward slightly. "The greatest mind control trick is repetition. Whatever humans hear repeatedly, they eventually believe, even if it's false." That sentence changed something inside Emma forever, because suddenly the entire world made sense. Advertising repeats insecurities, social media repeats comparison, toxic people repeat doubt, fearful news repeat anxiety. And slowly, human minds become shaped by repetition they never question. Emma asked quietly, "Then how do people break free?" Clara looked at her with calm eyes, and then she gave the most important lesson of all. Choose carefully what you allow into your mind, because your mind becomes the voice it hears the most. Silence filled the room. Deep silence. Emma realized that real freedom was not just escaping manipulation, it was becoming conscious of what shapes your thoughts daily. The people around you, the content you consume, the words you repeat to yourself. Everything programs the mind. That evening, Emma returned to the office with a completely different perspective. For the first time, she saw people with compassion instead of anger. The manipulative boss, the insecure friend, the controlling partner. Most of them were simply repeating psychological patterns they once experienced themselves. Pain passing from one person to another, generation after generation. And maybe that's why manipulation is so common, because wounded people often wound others unconsciously. But Emma also understood something equally important. Understanding pain does not mean tolerating destruction. So she changed her life quietly. She stopped giving attention to people who drained her emotionally, stopped accepting guilt that wasn't hers, stopped shrinking herself for approval. And slowly, her mind became peaceful again. One day, Hannah approached Emma at work. For the first time ever, she smiled confidently. She had joined a new team, made new friends, started therapy. Before leaving, Hannah said something Emma would never forget. "You made me realize I'm not who people say I am." Emma watched her walk away feeling emotional, because sometimes one moment of awareness can save a person from years of silent psychological damage. Months later, Emma opened the old diary where her journey first began. She read the sentence she had written long ago. People don't control minds through magic. They control minds through emotions people fail to understand. But this time, she added one final line beneath it. And awareness is how we take our minds back. Maybe that is the real lesson hidden inside this story. Not every person trying to influence you is evil, but not every voice deserves access to your mind either. Because the people around you slowly shape the way you see yourself. Their words become your inner voice. Their opinions become your fears. Their treatment becomes your self-worth. So choose carefully, protect your peace carefully, and never forget this truth. The human mind is like water. It quietly takes the shape of whatever surrounds it. And if you do not consciously decide what influences your mind, the world will decide for you.